Hello everyone, Blex here, and today we're going to be going through my top 5 things that I won't miss from Borderlands 2. With Borderlands 3 right on the horizon, we felt it was the perfect time to create a video to highlight some of the major quality of life changes that will be happening within the new game. So without further ado, let's jump into number 5. Number 5. It's easily the pointlessness of the dollar currency in the game. Let's face it, this currency was wildly available, it had some big numbers towards the later part of the game, it felt cool initially, but if you think about it, you only really used it to keep playing the game. You used it to buy ammo stocks, you used it to buy some health occasionally, in super rare occasions you would buy a shield or a weapon or a grenade mod or something like that from one of the machines, but overall you were just collecting this to continue playing the game. It's more like an arcade token that you'd put in a machine to continue playing, rather than the tickets that come out of the machine. With Borderlands 3, we hope that it'll change a bit, as we've already got word that backpack upgrades, ammo stock upgrades, things that you'd purchase from Crazy Earl with Iridium is now purchasable with dollar currency. Now this is great because it gives you more reason to try to farm this currency and keep this currency rather than just kind of using it to continue playing. The other thing that's great about cash currencies in game is it adds as an additional way of collecting your progress. But since deaths in Borderlands 3 took away so much, a consistent percentage I should say, of your dollar collection, that it was pointless to collect this currency because you just lose X percent every single time you died. Hopefully in Borderlands 3 this can act as an additional way for us to stay motivated and collect this currency. Number 4. The Unkept Herald. Yes, a singular gun is making this list, and it's for good reason. Sure, this gun was exceptionally powerful, but that's exactly why it's on this list. Once you got this gun, you felt like every other gun was sort of inferior. It's a little bit frustrating when the game's misbalanced like this, and you get one gun that makes you put away your sniper rifle if you're Zero, makes you put away your assault rifle if you're playing as Axton. It's too OP, it changes the game too much, and it forces you into these holes, these gameplay holes, at the higher difficulties that aren't fun and take away the variety of a game. If Borderlands wants to advertise the bazillions of guns, and we just end up using one gun the whole time, it takes away a lot of that fantasy. I'm not the only one who had this issue too. If you go to the subreddit on Borderlands, you'll see a bunch of people posting about how long they spent farming for the Unkept Herald. It's a long process, you need to do it because it's so strong, and ultimately it just limits you into a hole. So I'm hoping in Borderlands 3 all the guns are a little bit more balanced, and hopefully we can have more variety in our builds. Number 3. Redoing old quests. It's standard procedure in looter games to keep replaying old content for better and better gear. That's just how it works. We spent years doing this in Borderlands 3 though, and it gets a little annoying constantly redoing quests in order to farm certain bosses or get quest related items. This will likely still be a thing in Borderlands 3, but drumroll please.
This one is called the Circle of Slaughter.
Okay.
We're bringing back Circle of Slaughter from Borderlands.
Yep.
Right? And it's just this wave after wave survival mechanic of fighting off enemies. And the cool thing about this is that, the more you survive, the better your rewards are.
It's thankfully not going to be the only way to get gear. With the introduction of the Circle of Slaughter, as well as the other procedurally generated game modes, we'll hopefully have more variety in how we can farm endgame loot. So no longer will we have to help Claptrap fight Bullymoggs for the 10th time, and you can gear up with these new game modes. Number 2. No more slagging. Weapon switching and slagging was a fun game mechanic for a period of time in Borderlands 2, but after a while, and then especially on higher difficulties, it felt forced and limiting to always be slagging opponents and switching to another weapon. In Borderlands 3, they're going to be focusing more on matching elemental types to counter enemies instead of slagging then switching to any other gun. This is a great change of pace for us, as well as a welcomed opportunity for us to introduce more variety into the builds that we use. No longer will we be limited to having a slag gun as one of our 4 guns, and we can now focus on farming up different elemental type guns to help counter our enemies. Number 1. The pointlessness of the endgame. So I know what you're thinking. If it's pointless, why do it? But this is Borderlands 2. It's a game I'm passionate about. It's a game that I want to keep playing. Give me a reason to keep playing, and I will. That's where Borderlands 2 lost me towards the end. So after you've leveled your character through regular mode, True Vault Hunter mode, Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, then you finally get to the OP levels, it becomes such a massive grind, and that's where they lost me. There was an existential crisis for me.
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, welcome to the club, pal.
Realizing every level or two in OP levels, I need to refarm all of my gear. You had to repeat this process multiple times to hit true cap, and it just became pointless. So games like Diablo 3, they give you increased unlimited challenge to infinitely keep progressing and keep collecting more gear so that you can climb to higher ranks of rifts as well as climb the leaderboards on seasonal leaderboards. You know, that gives you purpose, that gives you a point to all this. You grind through the OP levels so you can climb up the leaderboard. I think it's a fair trade, and it helps keep you motivated and gives you a reason for farming all this gear. Now I hope with Borderlands 3 they introduce similar mechanics. Already, we're hearing that the Circle of Slaughter...
And there's more though, right?
There is more.
Okay.
So we're announcing something called Proving Grounds.
Okay.
and the other Paragon-like system called the Guardian system will help provide mechanics and reasons for us to keep pushing through these harder difficulties. The other thing I forgot to mention is once you got to those OP levels, you were so squishy too. You took a hit or two and you were completely dead. It made for unrewarding, frustrating gameplay towards the end, and only true passionate fans were able to stick through that and grind through those OP levels. So hopefully Borderlands 3 introduces some fixes for that, and I think they're on the right path already. Overall, Borderlands 2 is an amazing game that I absolutely loved. Borderlands 3 is shaping up to be a true successor, and I can't wait to jump into Borderlands 3 when it comes out later this month. Now stay tuned, subscribe and like my content if you want to see more. Thank you guys.